So in this video, I'm going to just talk about or give some ideas or just be insightful of maybe why you should break away from your parents, why you should break away from your family, right? So parents can make your life miserable, and some of them are manipulative, neglectful, unapproachable, rough, angry, aggressive, want to control you, they are annoying, nagging. Some of them are just uninvolved in your life, unconcerned, and could be a negative influence, right? And this eventually would make your life difficult, especially as you grow, and you might want to live a fulfilling life, but with toxic parents or dysfunctional parents, you might have had some psychological damage that they have caused you. And in this video, I'm saying maybe you should break away from them, right? Now, as an adult, you could get to choose the relationship you have with your parents, and you could decide what is right for you. And that could be breaking away from them, right? So, why you should break away from them? This video is mostly for people who probably had a rough upbringing, not the best parents or whatever, and you want to have a fulfilling life, and you might be thinking of breaking away from them, right? There are many reasons why you should break away from them. One, because they could be overreacting. And disagreement is normal. It's normal to have arguments here and there. But when they overreact constantly, when they cannot control their anger, when they're calling you names, when they're belittling you and they probably have caused you to have low self-esteem, when they yell at you, even if you're an adult now and you're still living with them and these things are continuing to happen, this could cause psychological damage, when they don't know how to resolve conflict. When they're violent with you physically, when they hit you, kick you, I don't know. When they was angry, they probably humiliate you in public or whatever. Or they could use you as an outlet to take out their stress and their frustration that they have from their jobs or whatever part in their life. And this could have caused you to be confused and hurt, especially if your parents are one or the other, especially if they were somebody like respected in public. You could be confused and hurt and wondering why they don't respect you, right? And they being like overreacting a lot can also cause you to feel like hopeless and unloved. And I'm just saying, like, to avoid all of this or to stop experiencing this overreaction, you should break away from them, right? Some parents, they put their needs before yours. They put their desires before yours. They take care of themselves first before you. And that is another reason why you should break away from them. So you can take care of yourself the best way that you know possible, and not hoping or waiting or assuming that they will take care of your needs or your desires at some point, when you can see that they are putting themselves before you almost always, right? But like on the other hand, some parents could be just over involved in your life. That is another reason why you should break away from them. They're over involved in your life. You don't have freedom, you don't have independence, you don't have individuality. They interfere in your romantic relationships, they interfere with your job, they expect you to fit into what they want you to be or what they think your life should be. And you might be playing along with this, or you might be trying to fit in to what they want you to be. Your parents or parent could be jealous of your relationship. They try to end your romantic relationship, right? I see this mostly with mothers trying to interfere with their son's romantic relationship because they might be jealous and they just want to destroy the relationship that just want to destroy the close relationship you have with others because they're jealous, right? They might be giving you advice that you don't want about your job, about your social life, about anything. Telling you how to manage your money, what to do with your many things overly involved in your life, and that would cause you to be confused and not know what to do and it could cause problems in your life. That's another reason why you should break away from them. Another reason why you should break away from your parents, your family, is because parents could be unsupportive. They don't support your choices, they don't support your interests, they don't support your accomplishments, they don't acknowledge your accomplishments. They could be jealous of your accomplishments. They want to control you. So you could just you could feel hurt because you want their approval, you want their validation, you want their support, and they're not giving it to you. So you should break away from them. They're not providing emotional support for you. They lack empathy. They don't understand your experience. They don't understand your feelings. They don't understand what you're going through. They lack communication skills. They don't know how to communicate. They don't understand you, right? Or they ignore your needs and your wants, and they could verbally abuse you, physically abuse you. All of this combined, not supporting you, right? Just not knowing how to show you love and to show you care. Just they are unbothered with you, and that could cause you to feel that, yes, unloved, unwanted, that you're not cared for, that you're not important because you need support, and that is a reason why you should break away from them, right? Or maybe they have excessive demands on you, right? Really unusual and overwhelming demands on you, giving you a lot of responsibilities and a lot of obligations, expecting you to drop everything that you need to do to attend to their needs, even if you have your own life, right? And you might say no, and then they might respond to you with anger, they're upset, they might criticize you, they might try to make you feel bad for saying no. And this could lead you to just have to be angry, to have resentment, and to be burnt out taking care of them. You might have your own family, you have your own job, you have your own social life, you have your own romantic relationship, you have your own life to take care of, and to have these extra responsibilities to take care of them can actually make you feel stressed out and burn out and create resentment. So that's another reason why you should break away from your parents. It's too much responsibilities, too much obligations, right? Another reason why you should break away from your parents is because they hurt you and they pull you down with hurtful words, and they just say things that they're not aware of how their behavior affect you. They're not aware of how these things that they say would affect you, because they kind of just focus on how they feel, and they focus on their own life, and they focus on themselves. So they try to make you feel bad, they try to make you feel guilty by pulling you down. They also might refuse to apologize if you explain to them that you hurt them, that they hurt you, or that they did something wrong to you. So they will just fail to take responsibility for their actions. They don't apologize, and even if you explain to them, some of them might lack the capacity to understand what you're talking about or what you're trying to explain to them. That could be really annoying and frustrating, and that is one reason why you should break away from your parents, right? Another reason why you should break away from your parents is because they lack empathy. They are not able to understand or consider your emotional experiences. Many things could be happening to you in your life. And yes, sometimes, most of the time growing up, the first person or persons you want to talk to for support, to get understanding from, to get love, to get care, so that they could understand you, is your parents. And if they lack empathy, what is the point? And then you grow up lacking empathy as well. You grow up because they lack empathy with you. They don't know how to show love to you. You grew up, you don't know how to express love. You don't know how to be understanding. You don't know how to show warmth. You grow up angry, aggressive, and defiant. I have a video on why you grow up to be angry, aggressive, and defiant. You could check that out. You don't know how to communicate properly. You have outbursts. You fly off the handle. You lack emotional intelligence because your parents lack empathy, right? Especially men in romantic relationships, they have issues coming up in their relationship where they are cold, they lack understanding and warmth, they are aggressive, they are angry, and they could be violent physically and verbally, and they just don't know how to show love, right? So you could check out that video I made, why you grew up to be angry, aggressive, and defiant. So those are some reasons, or those are some things that could have been happening to you growing up, and it's affecting you now, and you might still live with them, or maybe you don't live with them, but you still reach out to your parents every day, you still visit them every day, you still trying to maintain this relationship with them because you might feel guilty that that is not the best relationship or whatever. But I'm just saying here, you might need to break away from them, right? And you could be experiencing psychological damage, and it could be because of them, because of your upbringing. If you have depression, if you have anxiety, if you have post-traumatic stress disorder, or any other health problem, mental health issues that you had in adolescence or that you have as an adult now, it could be because of them. And if you want to be better, you might have to break away from them. If you use drugs a lot, you drink a lot, you have low self-esteem, it could be because of the relationship you had with your parents, and you need to break away from them so you could be better. You could be promiscuous, you could be vulgar, you're raunchy, you're obnoxious, you're loud, you call attention to yourself. It's because of your upbringing, and you might need to think about breaking away from them to be better. Your romantic relationships always have problems. It's always a challenge. Or you have children, you can't stop being angry with them. You're raising them like your parents raised you. You have problems at work. You're not mature. You need to break away from them to be mature and to grow into a good enough, responsible adult, right? You could check out my video, why you are not obligated to love your parents, if you want to know more about these things. So why I'm saying break away from your parents, so you can be your true self, so you can see who you really are, so you can explore your personality, so you can see your real personality. Because being around them, they might have created a how to say this, they might put their identity on you, or they might have this image of what you should be, and you might have been living up to that, and you don't know who you are, you don't know your true self. So if you break away from them, then you would know yourself as an individual. You know what you like, you know what you desire, you know your preference, you would know the way you want to live your life, right? You get to be independent, which is a good thing, where you can see your strengths, your capabilities, you can see your talents, right? You do not, some parents want you to feel that you can't do without them, you can't survive without them, you can't live without them, that they are all that you have. Like, this is not true. All of these are lies. That's lies, right? If you break away from them, you will see how independent you are, you will see your skills, you will see how amazing you are. I'm talking to people who have a hard upbringing, rough upbringing, neglectful parents, and all of that, right? You could move away from them, and whatever, maybe your parents even had mental disorders that they passed down to you, like anxiety or whatever, you would know. You should break away from them so you could heal from whatever they passed down to you from the different generations, right? If you want to choose to develop yourself, you want to become a better human being, and if you break away from them, you would not have the distractions and the involvement of them while you're going through this process. So that is the pros of breaking away from them. There will be no more constant criticism, no negative feedback on what you're doing, what you think, your perspective. You build your self-esteem, you could think freely, and you could navigate your life in the best way you want, or the best way you think that it should be, right? You should break away from them because you could speak your mind freely. You could share your perspective freely. You're away from them. You could be creative. You have more space in your brain to be creative, right? You don't have to feel bad anymore. Sometimes you might not even be communicating with them a lot, or just their presence and just the past and all the history and all the psychological damage. Just being around them makes you feel bad. Just being around them makes you feel less of yourself. You annoyed with them. There's indifference. You're angry with them. You feel uneasy, or you could be walking on eggshells. You don't want to make them angry. You feel boxed in. You feel restricted. You feel stifled. Like when you break away from them, you could be free. You're free of all of these bad feelings, bad emotions, negative emotions, right? You'll be free of arguments. You're free of conflict, on all the undesirable emotions that you get from being around them, right? You might have mental health problems that they have caused. You will be less depressed, you're less anxious, you have a clear head, you don't have negative comments or criticism going on, so you have a clear head, you will be more driven, you have be more motivated, you just feel free, and you could feel more confident with they're not being around, breaking away from them. There's no interference in your business, in your career, no interference in your marriage, in your romantic relationship, no interference in your parenting style. Maybe you want to raise your children in a different type of way that you believe is better, and you don't want their interference, so you break away from them, you make better life choices, and so on. So those are the good reasons, the pros of breaking away from your family, breaking away from your parents, right? So I'm saying breaking away from your parents, breaking away from your family, whatever, whoever raised you. It might not be your mother, it could be your grandmother. Most of the time, this dysfunction comes from females. Most of the time, mothers, grandmothers, aunties, sisters, some relative that's a female, some female figure. Most of the time, what I see and what I experience, dysfunction and toxic relationship growing up comes mainly from the female part. I'm not saying that there's fathers and uncles and other big brothers or whatever. I'm not saying that they are not toxic or whatever, or they are not dysfunctional, or that they don't do the things that I mentioned before. But from what I see, most of the time, it's a female, it's a mother, it's a grandmother, it's an auntie, it's a big sister that is causing a lot of problems. That is who you need to break away from. But breaking away from your family or whatever family member or your parents, it is not easy. And the number one reason why it might not be easy, and which is the only reason I could understand, is because you might be depending on them financially. You financially depend on them, and that is why it's difficult to break away from them, and that is why you may not have broken away from them as yet, because you depend on them in some way financially, right? It's not easy to break away from them also because you want emotional support, right? You might not want to feel like you're alone in this world, or if something like a tough circumstance happened to you, difficult situations happen to you, whatever it is, you would want the support, and you would feel like you're afraid to break away from them. So it's not easy to break away from them because you might feel guilty to disengage with them, because depending on what culture you live in or the society you live in, some culture encourage children to stay with their family, to stay with their parents, to take care of their parents, and some cultures encourage you, as when you're 18, to move away and be independent, and whatever the culture is or the society is promoting, You might, if especially if they promote staying with your parents, staying with your family, taking care of your parents when they get, if they promote that, if you if you think about disengaging with them or you want to disengage, you could feel guilty, right? And that could be one reason why it might be difficult, because you don't want to feel like you're a bad person. You don't want to feel guilty for doing that. So it might not be easy, right? Or you want to disengage, but you know if you do that, your parents will be upset with you. They might not like when you stand up for yourself, when you have your own opinion, when you have your own perspective, when you want to make a choice that is not in alignment with the family or whatever. They would be upset with you, and you might not want to have that kind of tension with them or to be upset with them. So you stay and you don't break away. Or you might be thinking that, well, other family members, they would be upset, they would not agree with what you want to do, they would not like it, you do not want to cause confusion, you do not want to cause tension, arguments, because other family members might just be against you and you want to avoid that. So that could be another um, another reason why you don't want to break away, you know. But society, you this is kind of a taboo topic. Who is talking about breaking away from their parents or leaving physically leaving your parents home, breaking away from them, living in a different country, living far away from them, not seeing them for many months and many years, not communicating with them to heal yourself and to be better. This is not something that people are talking about. You would not really hear people saying, or adolescents saying, or young adults saying, like, they want to break away from their parents. Their mother is a bad person, their father is a bad person, or whoever is taking care of them, their grandmother is evil, or their big sister is a bad person, or it could be males too, okay? Nobody's saying that. So you don't want to break away from them because you think, well, society will think that you're crazy and people will think that you're mentally ill and that you're ungrateful and you lack appreciation for what they have done for you and many things. So you stay there and you don't break away. Or you might want to set boundaries, stand up for yourself. You might want to change the dynamic or the relationship with them, and then they might not like it because you want to move away from them, or you want to have less communication with them, and they might put you out. So that could be difficult. You don't want to be homeless. They might think that you're mentally ill and put you in a rehabilitation center or something. You don't want that to happen to you. I mean, that's like a kind of extreme scenario, but that's possible. Like, people might think, like, do you have a mental problem, or like you're disturbed for moving away, or something is wrong with you, why are you moving away from your parents, you know? So that is, that's some reasons why it could be difficult, and I could understand all of them. I mean, it's apparently wrong to stand up to your parents. People will look down on you when you stand up to your parents, right? We all have been brainwashed growing up to love our parents no matter what. And then if you want to break away from them and you realize they have caused you psychological damage and your life is in a mess and you want to break away from them to have a better life, you are going to think that you're a bad person for breaking away from them, because you might also think that having a good relationship with your parents is a good thing and that could make you feel good about yourself. So you might not want to break away from them because you don't want to feel like you're evil, you're a bad person, right? You might also not want to break away from them because you believe if you break away from them, if you distance yourself, they would hold back money from you. They would hold back resources from you. Whatever possessions you believe that they should pass down to you or they might pass to you, whatever it is, you believe that they would withhold this from you, and you just like continue to communicate with them, you continue to put up with them, you continue to stay with them in hopes that they give you their resources, they pass down their possessions or whatever. So it could be difficult to break away from them, you know. People could also discriminate against you and look down on you because you don't associate yourself with your mother or your father or whatever. So that could be difficult, so I mean, you might try to fix the relationship. You might try to explain to them why you want to break away, or you might want to create boundaries to communicate with them less, or distance yourself, or not visit them as much, or not call them as much, or just even move away from them and not talk to them for many months and many years. And they might lack the capacity to understand why you're doing this. They might be naive, they might pretend, or they might just be ignorant. They don't really know what they have done to you, and they don't understand why you want to break away. And this could make you feel all frustrated and confused because they're not understanding you, and you just put up with them and you don't break away from them. So yes, it could be difficult if you want to break away from them and have all of these things like what I mentioned. The number one, you depend on them financially in some way, right? So on the other hand, you might want to break away from them. You might see the damage that they have caused. You might realize that if you break away from them, you could become a better person. You might, but you might realize okay, I don't like how I've been raised. I want to break away from them, but you might actually be like them, right? So I'm just saying, you might actually be what I'm saying. You might realize you want to break away. You might realize the damage that they have done, but you don't see yourself. You don't see that you have become like them. You may be angry like them. You yell a lot like them. You scream, you're aggressive just like them. And you have to realize that you can't just break away from them. And you also lack communication skills. You lack listening skills. You lack empathy. You are cold. You are aggressive. You do not know how to talk. You lack manners. You're not polite, just like them. You are cold. You could be insensitive. You don't know how to communicate effectively, and you can't work as a team at work, whatever. Work relationship, romantic relationship, your children, you treat them bad, you treat them in an aggressive way, you physically abuse them, you could emotionally abuse them, whatever you're doing. It's I'm just saying, not only you realize that they were bad parents, but you could be just like them, right? So it's not only you're gonna break away. When you break away and you have the freedom and the time and the space to be better, you have to deal with all of those problems that I just mentioned. So this is just a quick video just to give some insight about why you should break away from your parents, break away from your family to be a better human being, to heal, to overcome all of those psychological damage that they have caused, right? I know that some of you might want to have this amazing relationship with your parents. You might feel guilty, even if it's just inside the home. You want to feel like you and your parents are good, that you communicate good, that you interact with each other good, that you have a good enough relationship, and you might not. I mean, they might, as I mentioned before, they could be overreacting every day. That could cause anxiety, cause you to feel unloved. They could be putting you last. They could be just overly involved in their own life. They're not supporting you. They don't support you. They're not involved in your life. They're unconcerned about you. Why not break away from them? You're not losing anything. They might have, as I mentioned, excessive demands on you. You have to take care of them. You have to take care of yourself. You have your own family. You have your own job. And that could make you stressed out and burnt out and exhausted. Why? And then again, you could have a lot of responsibilities and obligations to take care of them, and they still criticize you and they're negative and say hurtful words to you. That all makes sense to me, right? Life could be hard. They lack empathy. They lack understanding. Why are you there? Why are you holding on to this relationship? They could be jealous of you, they're jealous of your career, they're jealous of the relationship you have, especially mothers and their sons. They're jealous of the money you make, they're jealous of your lifestyle, they're holding you back. They're not motivating you. Anytime they say something to you, it's to bring you down. And they might not be saying anything hurtful. They're uninvolved. Why are you holding on to this relationship? Breaking away could be better for you. If you have mental illness, it's their fault. You have anxiety, depression, so you abuse drugs, you drink alcohol almost every day, you're promiscuous, it's their fault. And I'm saying that you should break away from them in some way. Even if you live with them, you could change the dynamic, right? So that's the end of this video. See you in the next video.